OK. Alors, bonjour et merci d'être présent ici aujourd'hui concernant notre motion en tant que femme parlementaire. Je commence par lire la motion.
Déclaration.
La déclaration, excusez-moi. La déclaration faite par le Caucus multipartite des femmes. Alors, ici, nous sommes là pour réitérer notre position sur la motion 312. Alors, je vais vous la lire, la motion. Le caucus multipartite des femmes tient à affirmer sa vive opposition à la motion M-312. Nous croyons fermement à la liberté de choix des femmes quant à la décision de poursuivre ou non une grossesse. Il s'agit d'un droit fondamental et non négociable. Le caucus multipartite des femmes s'oppose donc à toute réouverture de ce débat. Donc, avec ça, je vais laisser la parole à toutes mes collègues qui sont là derrière moi pour qu'elles puissent apporter leur avis. Merci de votre attention.
I'm Senator Nancy Ruth, and I'm a member of the Conservative Caucus. I personally am pleased to support this motion. It is an issue that divides Canada. It is an issue that needs not to be here. The Prime Minister has been very clear that this is not something he wants to see move forward, and I support that too. I also think we need to always make a distinction between what are legal rights and social rights and those that are medical. There's no question the fetus has DNA, has a genetic basis, but that is not the same as the legal rights, and there are no legal rights for the fetus in Canada, and so it should remain. Thank you very much.
Carolyn Bennett, member of the Liberal Party and chair of the Liberal Women's Caucus. I, too, have come together with women from all parties to denounce the reopening of this debate by this divisive private members' bill, and will vote against it. I think that as a family doctor, it's been very clear throughout my career that a woman's right to choose is a right, and that women have been choosing abortion for as long as they've been getting pregnant. It is essential that as a society we ensure that they do not die doing this.
Bonjour à tout le monde. Je voudrais tout d'abord vous dire que c'est vraiment une grande fierté de faire partie du caucus multipartite des femmes. Je représente ici 100% du caucus féminin du Bloc québécois et aussi 100% du caucus dans son ensemble. Et nous tenons à réitérer notre appui à cette déclaration que nous avons contribué à faire et qui enlève tout doute à l'effet que nous sommes tout à fait contre la réouverture du débat sur l'avortement. Cette question est classée. Et quant à nous, au Bloc québécois, on a une unanimité derrière ça. Nous n'avons pas à redébattre de choses, disons, de droit acquis. Merci.
And Elizabeth May, leader of the Green Party of Canada. Évidemment, comme mes collègues dans le caucus de Parti vert, nous sommes aussi unanimes. le caucus entier était ici aujourd'hui. Mais sérieusement, c'est une question clé pour le Canada, pour les femmes. It's a very difficult issue that this motion has brought forward, and I think that my colleagues have said it very, very clearly and very well. There have been many petitions brought forward, and I'm sure from well-meaning members of Parliament that we somehow have a disconnect between our legal criminal code definitions and modern medical science. But this is confusing two entirely different issues, and we mustn't allow a discussion about the medical meaning of when life begins with a legal framework that allows Canadian society to respect the rights of women and to avoid grave confusion. There are many examples of how this motion, if it was brought forward and ended up changing the legal definition of when a person becomes a human being in utero, would unleash a torrent of confusion that would in fact endanger the potential care for the unborn. So I'll leave it at that. We are united, and we wanted to, as an all-party women's caucus, to make our position clear. And we'll take any questions anyone has.
Oh, juste une petite question très technique. Pouvez-vous juste Cette motion que vous nous avez lue, elle sera portée à un vote. Qu'est-ce qui va se passer?
Non, ce n'est pas une motion. Il y a eu erreur. C'est une déclaration. C'est une déclaration du caucus multiparti des femmes contre la motion, par contre, M-312.
Senator Ruth, I was wondering if you say that the Prime Minister doesn't want to reopen this debate, yet you're the one here instead of one of your elected colleagues from the Conservative Caucus. Could you explain to us why not a woman MP, not a Conservative woman MP would be here to do this, to support this?
I can't explain that, but I'm here. And it's fine for me to be here. And I'm a member of the caucus too. And soon we will be elected. So there you go.
I have an explanation.
We are the five members of the steering committee of the All-Party Women's Caucus. So we are the representative of each of the caucus.
So you do have the support then of Conservative MPs?
Some and yes, and some no.
Gordon O'Connor was very strong.
You know how the vote went. You heard the speeches of the whip. So you take your lead from that.
And I'm talking about your own group. You discussed this and in your multipartite women's caucus, whatever it's called.
Within this caucus, we agreed to do this.
So, and you have the support of all the Conservative women sitting on this.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm telling you where the party is, what the Prime Minister's opinion is, and you all heard the speech of the whip in the Commons.
It's a voluntary group of the group that come to work together on issues in common. And that's,
Carolyn, take the microphone.
Sorry. It's the All-Party Women's Caucus is a group of female MPs who have come together to work on a number of things. And senators, who, including how to make Parliament a more family-friendly place. So there are a number of issues that we've been working on. This was the one that we felt before we broke for the summer, that we show that there was total consensus within the group that's chosen to work together. This was an issue that we found total unanimity amongst the group that meet.
Since there's a lot of discussion as to exactly, who's saying what and who you represent, there seems to be, you referred to the Prime Minister's comments, the whip's comments, there seems to be more opposition to the motion than there would be support. How worried are you that this motion will go anywhere?
Me?
I don't think we think this motion is dead. We think it has to, that it will go to a vote and will be defeated. We, however, wanted to put our voices there because it will not now be voted on until the summer. We do not want people to feel that there is any place in raising some ruckus this summer when this motion, as far as we are concerned, is going nowhere.
Je voulais juste ajouter, nous avons tenu à faire cette déclaration juste avant de fermer la Chambre parce que nous tenions à dire quelle était notre position. Nous, au Bloc, on parle au nom du caucus, on parle d'une même voix. On n'est pas tous pareils dans le caucus, puis c'est multipartite des femmes, on n'est pas tous pareils. Et chacun d'entre nous représente d'une certaine manière une vision pour certains, un certain courant dans leur parti, puis pour d'autres, le caucus dans son ensemble. Mais ce qui est important et que moi j'aimerais apporter, c'est que oui, cette motion a été reportée pour l'automne. Et oui, on peut penser qu'elle sera éventuellement battue. Mais il faut faire très attention de ne pas tomber dans l'angélisme et croire que cette motion, a des chances d'être battue. Moi, je crois qu'il faut faire très attention. C'est pour ça que nous avons tenu à faire cette déclaration pour mettre en garde la population aussi face au fait que cette motion est toujours là. Elle est toujours existante, elle arrive à l'automne, et je vous dirais, je ne suis pas si sûre que ça, qu'elle pourrait être battue. Je l'espère, mais je n'en suis pas sûre. Donc, moi, j'ai une crainte par rapport à cette motion-là. Alors, j'invite toutes les femmes et tous les hommes qui croient à la liberté et aux droits des femmes face à leur corps, de faire savoir aux députés en question et aux différents partis politiques qu'au Canada et au Québec, cette question-là est réglée et qu'on n'a pas à réouvrir le débat. Mais moi, je vous le dis personnellement, c'est ma position personnelle et du parti aussi, on est inquiet. On n'est pas sûr que c'est si mort que ça et que cette motion se fera battre. On n'est pas sûr.
Oui.
C'est juste pour abonder dans le même sens que ma collègue. Nous, au parti NPD, que ce soit le caucus des femmes ou le caucus des hommes, et donc tout le parti NPD, s'oppose à la réouverture du débat concernant l'avortement. Et on sait que cette motion-là soulève des questions sur lesquelles la Cour suprême a déjà statué. Donc, pour nous, il n'est pas question d'aller dans des débats ou quoi que ce soit. L'action qu'on a prise avec mes collègues des autres partis, c'est pour dire que voilà, nous sommes des femmes parlementaires, nous sommes conscients et nous voulons faire savoir au public que nous, on est aussi là pour défendre leurs intérêts, que ce soit notre collègue Madame Nancy Root qui fait partie des sénateurs conservateurs, mais l'objectif qu'on veut envoyer comme message à la population, c'est que nous, on est là debout pour défendre des acquis qui sont déjà fragiles et qu'on voudrait préserver et ne pas laisser la chance pour aller glisser dans des choses qui ont été déjà tranchées.
For Nancy Ruth, a couple of years ago there was this debate about whether or not Canada should pay for abortions abroad. And you were famously, quote, at the time, telling women's group not to make too much fuss about this because for fear of maybe that it would encourage people to go even further in that policy. So I was wondering what brings you to come out today. Why would you not fear to make a statement today when a couple of years ago you were advising people not to make too much noise about it?
I think I'm making exactly the same statement as I did a couple of years ago. The issue that was being raised then was, should abortion be in the maternal health program? And many of the people there were unaware that there were only 2 countries in Africa, which was the continent under discussion at the time, that actually allowed abortion. Most countries it is illegal. And I suggested that it was not fruitful to continue this discussion. And that is the Prime Minister's stance now, and I'm happy to support it. I don't see that I've changed in any way at all.
That's not really necessarily what I was implying. Maybe I'm not expressing my thought rightly, but it seemed like you were fearing back then that we were maybe making too much noise about something that was not really an issue, and therefore, you know, bringing too much attention to it and maybe giving ideas to people contrary.
It is an issue that's divisive within Canada. I think it's better to keep quiet about it. It's not that it doesn't exist as an issue, but the government is focused on jobs. You all know that, so not this.
I think we've seen throughout North America with the right to life activity that to codify the life of a fetus is been an objective state by state by state, including various private members' bills, including that the murder of a pregnant woman would count as 2 murders. We think that it's important as a group that we show what we know is intended by this bill, and we want it shut down as a conversation that is inutile and unhelpful for the women of Canada. It's time that this debate was over. As most of us have had our websites taken over by these groups that I have numbers of the websites under carolinebennett.org.net with everything I've ever said about abortion. These are powerful groups trying to influence the parliaments of Canada and the states and the provinces, and it is really important that they hear from us right now before the summer that this is going nowhere.